Let's talk about the southeast section of the city of Brainerd. The boundaries to the west would be Business Highway 371, going all the way up and meeting with Washington Street, where the famous water tower is. From Washington Street, we would travel east and go out towards Red Pine Drive. And you'll see an intersection here just to the east of McDonald's is where Highway 25 comes in and travels south. And over on this area, in the red area, we have the junction of Highway 18 and 25. Highway 18 is also known as Oak Street. You'll see general business sections in this area. Just on the east side of that would be the state hospital. So we have residential, or we have business sections and some industrial section on this side of town. Following Oak Street, heading back into town towards the YMCA, you'll notice that we have a lot of single-family residents, some medium-density residential, buffered with some high-density residential as we get towards the Burlington Northern Railroad shops. The pink area is the corner of 13th and Oak Street, which would be Lakes Printing. You'll see Harrison School is over here and some light business just to the east of that. And as we follow down on 13th Street, we come to Stony Brook Trailer Park. There's also another large trailer park just to the east of that. You'll see south of the trailer park will be the industrial park, light industrial, as well as general industrial. And just to the south of that, this dark gray area is Lexington Manufacturing. The white area that you see uncolored in the map would be Crow Wing Fairgrounds. And Mike will talk about the proposed changes to the zoning map.
Hi, as we look now at the southeast Brainerd corridor, at the new proposed changes in our zoning map, we'll start down here on the Business 371 coming north. What we have done is changed some of this from general business right here, has moved into neighborhood business along that corridor. It's just trying to be a little bit more neighborhood friendly, and behind it then we have added in, you'll notice the high density residential, but then from there on up you'll notice before we were all yellow just like this, but then right up along the corridor on what we decided was probably best, because there's already business along here, this is along where Super America, the cafe, some of those are along here. We added that into a general business area along just on the east side of the corridor. And that follows all the way up, and that was also then buffered by a B2 district, which is medium density, and there's already some B3 in behind it that we left the same. And as we follow that up, right along here as we are on just before Oak Street, you have some already light, this is R3, high density above it and medium density below it. So we're going to come across then the Washington Street corridor. We already discussed that Washington Street now, this is the new Washington Street corridor, which buffers up against it, the B6. That's right along to help future development. But one of the more significant changes we did make was right along Washington Street here, and this is at the NP Center. This is a new district. This new district is called a mixed-use district. This can house different types of things, industrial, different types of business, different types of commercial, can all be allowed in this piece of the NP Center. Not all of it, but in the front half. But this is a significant piece of property here. We're talking over 10 acres in just this area. So we're going to continue along the corridor. Now we did remove some of the industrial out of here because it's all back to single family. And in the southeast area, you're going to notice that's the major things we've done. Now as we go down through what I would call the heart of Brainerd, southeast Brainerd, most of this used to be all R2 for, and now it's all back to single-family dwellings. And we left then R2 just in the corridor along 13th Street. This here would be Lakes Printing, Giant Wash, to give you a reference point to that. But most of this was all R2, and now just the corridor, and then is buffered out to neighborhoods each way. This is a fairly significant change right in here. And what our feeling is Southeast Brainerd was to try to get back to more single family in this area because it's the highest rental property concentration in our area. So we're going to follow our corridor out, back out now towards 25, following along. And you'll notice this all stayed fairly much the same. The only big changes we haven't discussed because the state hospital, it's really unknown at this point what that's going to be. So we had that as a rural agriculture before, and it really is to be discussed later. There's a lot of things that possibly could change in the near future, so we didn't designate that at this time. And our commercial, this is general business and commercial and industrial, all out here on 18 and 25. Bang Printing is in here to give you a little bit of a reference point for that. And we're going to go down Oak Street or Highway 18. You'll notice in here in the blue, we went down to residential office right along the corner. And there's already this in here. This is up by the Brainerd Oaks on the top side of it, right on 18 and Oak Street. But you'll notice then that this is the Brainerd Oaks down in here. That's all remained the same for small family lot sizes. But in between it here, we have some larger family lot sizes, which is our designation of the R1A, which is a little larger lot sizes. And now we're going to go along Beach Street. We left this all R1A, and this is the manufactured home park. I believe it's Meadowview Manor. Finally came in. And you'll notice that there's high density along the north side of this, all the way up to Oak Street. And what we did is, this is already here, we just squared off some of that and actually lost a lot of that. All this used to be high density and all goes back to single family. And so our other change is right back up here along Oak Street. We did allow for neighborhood businesses along Oak Street with some light density in behind it up to the edge of Beach Street, mostly because it's what's already designated and what's already there. So we're going to come back down along, and this is, you'll notice down along just south of the manufactured home parks, this is all newly acquired to the city back in here. And most of this is rural agriculture, but what we did do is general industry is back here because of their feeds in from 13th Street over. So you're coming down now, this is we'll go back down 13th. This all remains single family down here, and our manufactured home, Stony Brook, right there, park. This all stayed relatively the same, no changes along there. Our industrial park stays relatively the same all the way through, with the exception over here, this went from general business and neighborhood business over to residential office, just to lighten some load, and then we removed the high density housing from over along this portion of our, I gotta look close to try to help my road bearings. So, but this area all remains basically the same, right onto the edge of town down by Lexington. We felt that's all now an industrial area and should remain the same, with the only buffers of a neighborhood business, general business out on the corners of 13th and what is now mostly called Thiesing Road. So take a look. This is actually probably the most sweeping changes of any neighborhood that we're going to talk about. There's a lot less color here than there used to be. There's more yellow than there ever was. Please make a comment. Follow the website, add a comment. We want this to be your community and you to understand the changes in our zoning for our future.